What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are back with some more Thursday NBA plays. We have a pretty nice slate today, some pretty decent games, some pretty ugly games as well. We'll talk about the games as well as some player props here in just a little bit. The first thing that we do have to do is pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of our VIP. You guys know I do this in every single video. If today's video gets 250 likes, I will randomly select a comment to win a free month of VIP. And the way I'm doing this now is in every video, I will ask a question somewhere in the video. You answer that question down in the comments, and then that comment will be eligible for free VIP. So if I pick a comment picker and it's not answering the question from the day prior, you will not be eligible, and I will be re-rolling it. So let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. Winner is going to be for Nicholas Young, who said, I'm thinking Detroit and Spurs. Great content, brother. So the question yesterday was, let me know between the two games. Do you have the Spurs or you have the Spurs or Raptors, and then do you have Detroit or OKC? So he took Detroit and the Spurs, which is the same two plays that I actually took myself, and we put them on a parlay. It cashed. It was a very sweaty play. Both games looked ugly. OKC was leading for a while. Toronto was leading most of the game. It was a very, very sweaty play. But Nicholas, send me a message on Discord, my man. I will get you added for that free month of VIP. I do appreciate the love, support, and the comments from every single one of you guys. Now, yesterday, listen, guys, MLB is not fully back, but we have spring training, and spring training has been so green. And I'm not just yapping. I'm being dead serious. So this is the last 3 days of spring training on Prize Picks. We have absolutely crushed it. We have swept spring training 2 days in a row. So yesterday's spring training slip swept, and then the same thing the day before that. So these are the three we ran yesterday. Hunter Brown with Brian Wu, Nick Lodolo. Then it played Noah Cameron with Hunter Brown, and then Bryce Elder with Trevor Rogers. Every single one of these cashed, had a great day. And then these are all the slips from the prior days. So you can see February 22nd, 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 freaking destroying everything, man. Almost smacked the full five, man. We've hit the day before. Like, it's just been so green on spring training. If you're interested in MLB, or if you've never attempted to bet on baseball, baseball is one of my favorite sports to bet on. I'm not going to say it's always the greenest. Last year was a very tough season for the second half. The first half of MLB was awesome last year. The second half was terrible. So I'm hoping that we get at least another half of baseball to be as nice as it was last year. But if you want that, we do have them in our VIP as well as our NBA picks. This is not all the slips that we cashed yesterday, obviously. We did cash one of our two free picks. So we had Ty Jerome with Jared Allen. That one did cash. So if you tailed this from yesterday's video, you had a nice little green slip. The second slip I posted yesterday was a reboot. So we did get a refund on the second slip, which is nice, which I'm pretty sure we did anyway. It said it was a reboot. But let me confirm that really quickly, because as of yesterday it did say reboot, but I'm pretty sure my parlay play funds don't show that. No, they graded it as a loss. Yeah, it was a loss because it was a three pick. Never mind, I'm wrong. I apologize on that. So we did split the slips yesterday. We still profited about $12 if you played both of them, so it was a very minimal profit on the two slips, but it did cash one of them. So we did split the two slips. If you missed the first part and skipped a little bit, yes, I realize I messed up by saying we got a reboot. Just one of the picks was a reboot. It was for Isaiah Joe. So, anyways, yesterday was a great day, another green day. Bet tracker, I profited $43 on Moneylines. I only played 2 Moneylines yesterday. The only 2 that I played was Grizzlies Moneyline and then Pistons and Spurs parlay. I thought I was going to miss both of them. I'm going to be honest. I ran half a unit on Grizzlies Moneyline, and then I ran a full unit on the Spurs. So you can see that that is why I was able to profit, which is why I recommend unit sizing. If I would have put a full unit on the Grizzlies yesterday, yes, if the Grizzlies would have won, I would have won more money. But since they lost, I was still able to profit money because I'm unit sizing correctly. So pay attention to the unit sizes. I give them in VIP on my money lines. I tell you how many units I'm playing on them. And if you tell it accordingly, you can profit as well. So yesterday, profited $43. It's minimal. That's a fifth of a unit for me, but it is what it is. $43 profit is profit. So we're up $1,407 for the month, which is a very light month in terms of profit, but I'll still take it. For the last 3 months, we are up 15.1K on the money lines alone. So if you guys do want to get these, they're also in VIP. A link to the WAP is down in the description. It's $10 a week or it's $25 per month. Code NBA gets you 20% off. If you get to this page, you just click +3 options right here, and you can select which month, if you want monthly, yearly, or you can get lifetime VIP. But it's all there if you want it. I'm just throwing it out there. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about these games. Let's go ahead and do our player props first because I told you guys I am doing player props first starting out or from now on, and then we'll go into the money lines because player props are a little bit more popular, and I feel like more people like that. So let's jump into our first player prop of the day. The first pick that I like on today's slate is going to be for our man Joel Embiid. I like Embiid tonight. Embiid is probable. He should play. He played the last game, dropped 27 points, playing versus Miami. So let's talk about Miami because Miami's one of the faster-paced teams in the league. They've been a team that's been pretty dang good. They've been winning some games, and we could pull this Miami game up right here, and you can see how they played since coming back from the break. So they're 2-1 since coming back from the break. Got beat the last game by the Bucks. The Bucks have been a sleeper team. I'm not going to lie, since coming back. Without Giannis and everything, they've been a pretty decent team. So I'm liking where the Bucks are. They've ended up beating the Heat. But other than that, the Heat have looked pretty good as of lately. They beat Wizards, beat the Pelicans, beat Atlanta. Actually had a blowout win versus Atlanta. Look at the Sixers. The Sixers, since coming back, they have won 2 of 4, so they're 50-50. They lost to the Pelicans. So that was a very tough loss for them. They did beat Minnesota the game after that. So they went into Minnesota on a back-to-back and beat the Timberwolves, and then they lost, or they ended up beating Indiana in Indiana as well. So this Phillies lineup looking strong on the Miami side of things. Missing Davion Mitchell, and I don't know why I'm going super in-depth in this game, but I'm kind of giving a reason why I like this pick for Embiid. But Embiid should have a fast-paced match, and the reason I wanted to pull all this up is because with the NBA, National Blowout Association, it gets kind of tough sometimes when you take player props because a blowout will completely kill you. And some people, I think the spread on this is very close, like a 1.5 or 2.5 point spread. So it's not predicted to be a blowout or anything by any means. But Davion Mitchell, questionable. Jovic is obviously out. Terry Rozier out. On the Philly side of things, you got Embiid probable, suspended Paul George, Johnny Broome out, and then Beauchamp is questionable as well. So I like Embiid here. He's probable, should play. It's a great matchup versus Miami, and I do like him for points today. So his points line is sitting at 27.5 if you want to play it at even odds. So if you want to go straight bet it, you can straight bet it at 27.5. 27.5 is a tough line to play. Now, versus Miami, ranked 20th in the league in points allowed per game, 117 points per game. If you go to centers, centers is 10th. So top 10 defense to centers, they only give up 18.6 points per game to the center position. Now, Embiid's one of those guys, like when he's healthy and he's playing good and wants to play, you can't stop him. The dude can score on anybody. He can score at will. Like Embiid, you can see 40-point games in a lot of these, cashing 8 of his last 10. Look at him, his last 20, 65% hit rate, and then only 47% hit rate on the season. But you got to look at his minutes as well. Most of these games, he's been dealing with injuries for pretty much the whole season. Obviously, he's one of those guys. He doesn't play back-to-backs. He'll rest a couple games and then come and play and drop 40. Like, good player, head-to-head versus Miami. No games from this season that we have to look at. So I'm looking at the data of pretty much how he's played in his last 20 or so games. The dude's been putting up a lot of field goal attempts. 19.5 field goal attempts per game. You can look at the last probably 12 or so games. He's putting up a lot of them, around 19 to 25 points shot attempts per game. Maxi's one of those guys who can steal a lot of his usage, but Embiid takes more of Maxi's usage than vice versa. When Embiid's playing, it's hard to bet on Maxi because Maxi sometimes just won't get the shot attempts, and Embiid will still have his 20. So I like Embiid here. 27.5 is a very sweaty line. I really like his line at 24.5. At 25 points, we're looking at an 80% hit rate over his last 20 games, averaging 30 points per game. So this is a pick that is going to be boosted on parlay play. So if you play it on parlay play, you get a 1.47x, which is pretty good value on Embiid at 25 because Embiid's good for 25. Like I said, about any game when he's healthy. So give me Joel Embiid for 25 points. If you want to play him at 28, you can. I don't think that's a terrible bet, but I do think it will be slightly sweaty. So that's going to be pick number 1 of the day that I do end up locking in. If you guys do want a free month of VIP, you can sign up for any partnered app in the description. Parlay Play is one of the ones I push a lot because it's one of the apps that I bet on the most. Use code Fantasy Aces on Parlay Play. You'll get a free $5 to bet with, and then you get a deposit match up to $100. So if you put $100 in, they'll double it. You get free VIP, and they give you $5 for free. Plus, you have access to all these boosts that they're giving. All these with the yellow circle on them are going to be boosted plays. So a lot of different promos today and every day, honestly. But you can do that with any app in the description. There's 8 apps. So just click the one you want, let me know, and I'll get you guys added for a free month. But anyways, Embiid is pick number 1. Now, who are you going to pair with Embiid, Ryan? Well, let's talk about the pair that we're going to run with. So I'm going to run a little game stack here, and I'm going to run a game stack for both centers. So I like Bam. Bam is one of those guys he's tough to bet on as well because Bam is very streaky. Now, Bam, as of lately, has been playing good basketball, and he's been putting up a decent amount of field goal attempts, around 15 per game. He had 19 his last game versus the Bucks. But overall, on the season, you got about a 55% hit rate if you play his points. His point line is plus 110 at 17.5. I don't plan on touching this line at 17.5. I'm looking at Bam for either 15 points or I'm looking at his PRA for 25. And that's the two. Those are the two plays that I'm looking to pair with this boost. And my goal, obviously, is to get this close to an 2x. If I can get the payout on this close to a 2x, I'm happy. But Bam is a guy that I'm confident in to play pretty decent tonight. Obviously, they have Tyler Hero back. They have Norman Powell. Those are two players that can take a lot of shot volume from Bam. Davion Mitchell, obviously, if he sits, it adds more usage to the other players. I'm assuming he's out for illness. I don't know what's going to happen with Mitchell, but Tyler Hero, obviously still limited, not starting. So, or as of right now, he's not starting unless anything changes. So, I'm expecting Bam still to have a good game. 15 points is something I'm willing to take. He's cashed at 9 of his last 10 games. He's cashed at 90% of his last 20. So, 15 points is I'm not going to say safe, but it's semi-safe for sports betting. So, you got a 1.4x here. This does put you right at a double up. If you played his line at 24.5 PRA, you got a 1.21x, and you actually can't even run that play. So, I'm going to run Bam for 15 points. That's going to be the play that I run. And let's see if we have any like points and rebounds or anything. 24.5. I'm not playing that. Points and assists. 19.5. So I'm not going to play that either. So yeah, I like the points the best. So I'm going to run these 2 points together. 250. Whoa, we are not putting 2,500 on that. Let's just hit submit. Will it even let me play that? Pretty sure this is $250 max. I'm about to say. 250 to pay out 487.5. Let's lock it in. And that is going to be the first slip of the day. So right here, we have Joel Embiid with Bam Adebayo with points on both of these guys. So 1.95x. We'll track picks. Show you guys it is a legit slip. I'm locking this in live. Do this in all my videos for a reason because there's so many scammers out there. But you can see we have Embiid and Bam right here locked in. So go back to home, and then we're going to lock in our second slip of the day. So our third player prop of the day that I do like is going to be, bear with me, guys. Bear with me because this is a boost. It is another promo on Parlay Play. You can play this wherever you want. You can play either of these slips wherever you want. The best value is just going to be on Parlay Play majority of the time when I'm playing these boosts. But I am taking Zion. Now, Zion has been on my no-bet list for about 3 months now, and I have yet to put him in a slip. I'm going to give my homeboy one more chance, and I'm going to give him a chance at 29.5 PRA. This is a low line for Zion. He's been playing good. He's hooked it twice in his last 10. Other than that, Zion's been playing good. Now, this matchup is the main reason I like this. If you look at the Jazz's defense, they give up more stats than any other team in both points and assists, and then they're a bottom 10 defense in rebounds. So they give up a ton of stats overall. You go to power forward and small forward, to the forward position, lots of points and assists, to the center position, lots of everything, to the guard position, lots of everything. So Zion should be able to do what he wants today. They're missing Trey Murphy. They're missing Amisi. So they're missing a couple of key players, and we can confirm this does say out for Thursday's game. Yeah, out for Thursday's game against the Jazz. Misi will remain out for Thursday's game. If this changes, I'm going to be a little salty. But regardless, Zion for 30 PRA, he's about good for it every game. Now, 70% hit rate over his last 20 games. He's cashed at 65% on the season. The matchup is perfect versus Utah in the last couple games from last season. He had 44 and he had 39 PRA. So balled out versus them last season. I'm expecting Zion for 30. Now, this game should stay competitive. Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen are both questionable on the Jazz side of things. Obviously, they're missing Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Nurkic, and Vince Williams, all four out for the whole season. So Utah's pretty much tanking. Been some games they've kept competitive that I didn't know if they would or not. I'm expecting them at home to keep this competitive versus the Pelicans anyways. It's the Pelicans. They're not some dominant team, but it could get ugly. Let's be honest. It could. I do like the Pelicans to win this game. I got Pelicans money line in this one as well. But I'm going to lock in Zion right now. Zion, like I said, is going to be boosted here. It's only a 1.32x. This isn't some crazy good value. I understand that. His original line is 34.5 for a reason. Like, you're getting a 5 PRA discount. So he should cash this. That's all I'm going to say. So Zion's what I'm going to lock in, and I'm going to pair him with our man Donovan Clingan. So Clingan's the last pick that I have for today. Or for player props anyways. I'm going to take Clingan. I like his points and rebounds, or I like his PRA. Those are the two I'm running. You can run his rebounds if you want. His rebounds line is a little bit inflated, but his points line is about 15 and a half. It's pretty inflated as well. What I'm looking at here, I'm looking at Portland versus Chicago. Chicago is another team that does not play very good defense. They're a very fast-paced team, and they give up a lot of stats. And then you look at Portland. They're missing Denny. And then they're missing Shaedon Sharpe once again. You can click this. Will remain out 4 to 6 weeks. Denny will remain inactive for Thursday's game in Chicago. So neither of these two players should be playing. Robert Williams is questionable. Clingan has been balling whenever, you look at points. He didn't put up very many points last game versus Minnesota. But if you come and look at his points and rebounds, he put up 27 points and rebounds his last game. He had 16 boards alone, but he didn't take very many field goal attempts, only 7. Usually he's getting around 10 plus. So on the season, he's averaging 8.6 field goal attempts. I know that doesn't seem like a lot. What we're going to do is we're going to filter this. We're going to do games without Denny and without Shaedon Sharpe. So without these two players, where are we at? That's with. My bad. Oops. So I was about to say, dude, my heart dropped. I was like, what? Without Denny and without Shaedon Sharpe, 2 of 3 games this season, 27, 41, and 39 points and rebounds. He had 20-plus points in the first 2 games, which was versus Memphis and versus the Jazz, which are 2 similar teams when we're looking at in terms of stats allowed. Obviously, the Jazz give up a lot, but so do the Bulls. You can see 26th and 21st in points and rebounds. Go to centers at 27th and 19th. Now, this is with Vucevic as the center. Obviously, Vucevic plays 0 defense, so the points here is probably a little bit inflated from that, but I'm not expecting much more from this lineup they have right now either. So give me Donovan Clingan. You could take his original line at 29.5 points and rebounds. You can play his PRA. You can play his rebounds. You can play whatever you want with him. I think he just has a baller game tonight, but I'm going to take Clingan for points and rebounds most likely. Let's see what we can find for value for this slip. So they do have a boosted 11.5 boards. I'm not playing this because 12 rebounds is still a lot, and that's not a good payout. I know his original line is 13.5. The payout there is just low in my personal opinion. And I said it again, dude. I can't have a video without saying in my personal opinion. But if you come over here, look at his PRA. His PRA at 29.5. I don't think you can play this. It's a 1.77x, so you can play that. But you got points and rebounds at 29.5. So it's a 2.3x if we run this. Oh, do we want to risk it on the points and rebounds, or do we want to risk it on PRA? So it'd be 250 to win 575 versus 250 to win 442. So it'd be about $130 difference between. And I'm not hovering this because I don't want them to drop the payout because they do watch my videos. I promise, like this my account is being watched by Parlay Play. Every time I hover a pick, it just goes down. It might do that for everybody, but it does it for me for sure. Clingan for points and rebounds or for PRA. Let's look at how many assists he's. Let's dive in deeper on Clingan because his assist line we need to take a look at. So his assist line's 3. He's averaging 3.2 assists per game over his last 10 games. If you look at him on the season, he's averaging around 2 assists. If we go to games without Shaedon Sharpe and Denny, he's averaging 5 assists. So he's putting up pretty big assist numbers. Last couple of games, he's had 7 and he's had 5. So playing PRA does give us a little bit more leniency on this play. So maybe we run PRA here and just take the lower payout. I think that might be the move. Let's do that. Let's play PRA. If you want to play his points and rebounds, I like his points and rebounds. I'm probably going to sprinkle some on it. I'll probably go play it on underdog at this line, and then I'll take it there and get the 3.5x. Play it with another regular line. I think that's the move. So Donovan Clingan right here, PRA. Let's lock him in. So that's going to be our second slip. I know the payout on this one's not very good, but I mean that's just the way I run my slips, man. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it that way. But it's kept me profitable over the last couple of years or last like 6 years. So that's what I'm gonna continue to do. But Embiid, Adebayo right here, slip number 1, and then the second slip we have is going to be for Donovan Clingan and Zion Williamson. So question for today's video to win free VIP, drop this down in the comments. My question is going to be, would you guys like to see no vig boosts in these videos? Would it increase the viewership? Because for the Moneyline section, I know I don't ever lock in slips, but I've been doing these daily no vig boosts, and I showed them to you yesterday. I did miss yesterday's no vig boost. I'll show you what I had. The one that missed was going to be, let's see here. So this is what I ran for yesterday's no vig boost. It's a $25 max. It's plus 438. So you guys can see that obviously they're long shot parlays. I've hit about half of them, so I've been doing very good on these. But had Detroit money line with Spurs money line, Denver money line, which cashed. The only one that missed yesterday was Memphis plus 6.5. And I hate doing 4 legs. I like to do these in 3 legs if I can. But last night the slate just was ugly, and it was hard to get a 3-leg to do this unless you played like Memphis money line, and I didn't want to do it. But Memphis got blown out by Golden State. It was a bad bet on my part. I should have not trusted the Grizzlies. they sold this parlay. But if you want me to do these in the videos for the money line section, just let me know. That's something you guys would want to see, because if it is, I'm willing to try to find a value for these no vig boosts. Obviously, I'll have to pre-lock in the slip and then show it like this. I can't lock it in live because I don't think YouTube will allow me to show no vig's website without it blocking the content. So anyways, if you guys want to try that, if you guys want to see that, please let me know, and we'll try to do that. That's the question for today. Is that something you guys would be interested in? So that being said, let's go ahead and jump in to some of these money lines for today, guys, and let's talk about these games, because we have some games that are competitive, some games that are kind of blowout potential, which I'll be fading. But let's talk about the first one on the slate. So we have the Heat versus the Sixers. Right now, Philly is minus 125 favorites at home, 2.5 spread, 240.5 total. Very fast-paced game, very good for player props. One reason I took Bam and I took Embiid. When you look at the money lines, 70% of the money is going to be on Philly money line, with 56% on Philly covering the spread. So if minus 2.5 plus 108, I'm just going to run Philly money line. I think if the Sixers win this game, I think they're overall the better team, especially with Embiid playing. If Embiid was sitting, I'd be leaning Miami. But with Embiid playing, man, this team's just so strong. So give me Philly. I got to run with them. I can't trust Miami on the road here. Miami's a much better home team than they are on the road as well. Both these teams fight for a playoff spot. Both of them should be competitive. Yes, Miami can win this game. If you like Miami at plus money, take them. But right now, you can get them on Hard Rock minus 125 for Sixers. I like the odds here, and I think the value is good. So I'm going to be running Philly money line today. That is going to be pick number one. Not much more in depth I need to go. Next game on the slate is going to be the Pacers versus the Hornets. This one is in Indiana. Indiana are plus 600 underdogs at home. Indiana has not been a good team. I mean, we know how they are. They're pretty much tanking as well. They've lost 4 straight since coming back from the break. Lost to the Wizards twice in a row. That was in Washington. I don't see any way the Hornets let Indiana take this game from them, because the Hornets are fighting for that playoff spot. Hornets have been playing good basketball. They're almost at 500 on their win-loss. So 28-31, a few games, and they'll be even. They're probably going to make the playoffs. This is a game where, for a road game, this should be one of their easier games. You know, the Pacers, like I said, a tanking team that's plus 600 for a reason. It's a 12.5 spread. Like, I'm not going to be putting money on this game in terms of money line, maybe some player props, maybe. This game could get ugly. I'm not going to say the Pacers don't keep it close, because I do think they play with the Hornets. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it stays pretty competitive, but I've got Charlotte winning this game. I think this is the game they need for this playoff potential, and I'm going to be running with the Hornets on this one. So that's all I have for that. Next game is going to be Spurs versus Nets. Another game that's probably going to be kind of ugly. The Nets are at home. They're plus 567 at home. 12.5 spread on this game as well. 224.5 total. So pretty low scoring. 90% of the money going to be on the Spurs. You can't bet on the Spurs here. It was just a too juiced of a line. They just coming off of a win versus Toronto. Very, very hard-fought game last night in Toronto. Now they're traveling all the way to Brooklyn. This is going to be a tough game for them. I do think the Nets can keep this game close. It's got blowout potential for sure. The Nets are 100% a tanking team. They just got beat by Dallas. They got beat by Atlanta. They gave this game versus Atlanta away. Michael Porter Jr. can't be trusted anymore for the rest of the season, so he's no longer our wagon this year. But he could ball out. You never know. He could ball out any game. Spurs missing David Jones-Garcia and Mason Plumlee again. Not really much that needs to be said about this game. I do think that the Nets could potentially cover a 12.5 spread. I'm not going to lie. I'm not willing to put money on this. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not betting on this at all. This is definitely one of those, like, if you want to risk it, go for it, but I'm not willing to risk it on the Nets. I do think that it's rough travel for the Spurs, but the team is just a lot better. I mean, give me the Spurs money line. I'm not going to say I think Brooklyn wins by any means, but this game could be a shocker. You never know. Next game on the slate is going to be the Rockets versus the Magic. Now, this is the game where I could put some money down. I'm not going to lie. You got Orlando. They're plus 132 at home. 2.5 spread. 216.5 total. With public betting, most of the money going to be on the Rockets. And that's what scares me, is that you have 85% on Rockets money line, and then you have 94% on them covering a 2.5 point spread. If the Rockets win, Vegas loses a lot of money, because these are even odds. These are not odds that's like plus 300 or minus 300 or something. Like, this is even odds. Sports books lose a crap ton of money if the Rockets win this game. So makes it tough to want to bet against the Magic tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. Magic have won 2 in a row. They beat the Lakers and they beat the Clippers. The Rockets are on a back-to-back, and they had a blowout win last night versus Sacramento. They played at home in Sacramento, or at home versus the Kings. Now they're traveling to Orlando to play against the Magic. It's not like it's some super tough travel schedule right there for the Rockets or anything. But third game in 3 days. So they are going to be a little bit tired. The second game in 3 days for the Magic. But the Magic, could come out here and get a win. If you look at this Rockets team, they are missing Amon Thompson, missing Dorian Finney-Smith, Jashawn Tate, and Fred VanVleet out in this one. So obviously, Steven Adams as well. Look at Orlando. Orlando potentially missing Suggs, and they're missing Franz Wagner. So Wagner being out is obviously a tough loss for him. I think Suggs plays this game. So he's still questionable for Thursday game against the Rockets. I don't know if Suggs played his last game. Let me see. Let me just pull it up. So the last game he played was on the 24th. We'll just do with Suggs. I can't remember if he played or not. Jalen, where we at? Oh, it's right there. So he did not play the last game. So I'm thinking he plays. I don't know for sure. If Suggs plays, obviously that's better for Orlando. But Houston without Amon's a big loss, man. It is. So we'll take a look here. Thompson is out for Wednesday's game against the Kings due to left quad tendonitis. As of right now, he's not going to be playing. He shouldn't be playing. Orlando at plus 130 at home is not a bad bet when 90% of the money's on the Rockets. I think the Rockets are the better team. Orlando sells me about every time I play them, but I might take a chance with the Magic tonight. You look at the last 3 games they played, only 1 game from this season. Orlando lost to the Rockets, and it was a very close game, and that one was in Houston. So no games at home. The last home game was 108 to 116, and that was back in March of last season. So only because of where the money's at, I'm going to run with the Orlando. I'm gonna run with a sleeper Magic getting a win tonight, or at least for the spread. We'll take Magic plus 2.5. That'll be the play we take. Probably won't go any more than that, or I probably won't take the money line. But Magic plus 2.5, probably going to be a pretty good play. You could buy it up to probably 4.5 points and have decent odds. Probably have to be at like minus 130, minus 140, which I don't mind taking, and that might be something I do. But Magic spread, I'm willing to take here. That's what I'm going to call for this game. I do think the Rockets are the better team. Don't get me wrong. Most games I take the Rockets, but missing Amon Thompson in Orlando on a back-to-back 3rd game in 3 days, I think the Magic have a chance here. Next game's going to be the Hawks versus the Wizards. It's going to be a fade for me. Anything with the Wizards in it's going to be a fade. This could be a game where, actually, I think Jalen Johnson might be out this game, right? Yeah, Jalen Johnson's questionable. He might sit. Ricochet questionable. They're missing a lot of players. So is obviously the Wizards. I'm not willing to put money on this game. I think Atlanta probably wins. I do think the Wizards, if Jalen Johnson sits, are a live dog. I think they could come out here and get a dub. It's very possible. So, if Jalen Johnson sits, I'd say lock in the Wizards just for like a quarter of a unit or half a unit or something just for fun if you want. But for me, in terms of betting on them like and putting a full unit or anything, not willing to put money on the Wizards myself tonight. Next game is going to be the Bulls versus the Trailblazers. So Chicago plus 164 at home, 4.5 spread, 235.5 total. Most of the money is going to be on the Trailblazers. And let's talk about this Chicago team because they have not won a game in the whole month of February. So this team has... What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm clicking. Okay, so we can come down here. Their last win was on the 31st of January. They have played 10 games in February, and they have lost all 10 games, including home games. You can look at their home games. So every single one of these games has been at home, and they've lost every single one of them. They got blown out by Charlotte. They got beat by 6 by the Knicks. They got beat by 16 by Detroit. Got beat by 9 by Toronto and Denver. So win rate on the season, 41% win rate on the season and 48% at home. So there are slightly better players at home. Obviously, most teams are going to be better at home. Trailblazers on the road, 43% win rate, slightly worse on the road, which is obviously most teams are going to be worse on the road. There's slightly few teams out there that have been playing better this season or have more wins on the road, but that might be versus the matchups. Opponents might have been slightly easier, things like that. But regardless, I always look at that, and I like to look at this. I like to kind of compare. But Trailblazers coming off of a loss versus Minnesota, lost 2 days ago. Bulls coming off of a blowout loss versus Charlotte, so starters didn't play super large minutes. Obviously, Portland's going to be missing Denny. They're going to be missing Shaedon Sharpe. The Bulls have Jaden Ivey out, Anthony Simons out, Jalen Smith out, Patrick Williams is doubtful, Zach Collins. So they're missing a lot, man. It makes it hard to want to put money on this Bulls team. Now, the Bulls at plus 160. It's kind of hard not to play them at this line because that line's pretty dang good on X. You can get them at plus 163 on Kalshi, plus 163 on Novig, so Profit X, just give them that +1 just to make it the best odds, which I respect the game, Profit X. But Chicago here, I think, are going to be... I think Chicago could pull out a win. That's what I'm going to say. I don't trust playing Portland at minus 160. I think the odds are pretty juiced for this matchup, especially missing Sharpe and Abdia. Now, like I said, I think Clingan has a ball-out game. I think Portland... might have the better roster right now overall with all these players missing for Chicago. Chicago is struggling, but they do have Giddey. We have Buzelis. We have some players in here that can. It's just not a strong lineup right now. It's hard for me to want to take the Bulls here. I'm going to run with the Bulls because I think they're due for a win. 10 straight losses. Give me the Bulls in a very unconfident, one of those like, if you want to take a chance, take it. Maybe the 4.5 spread is what I run. Give me Bulls. I will say spread on this one. Give me Bulls plus 4.5. That's what I would take in this game if I was going to run anything in terms of playing that. I don't think I trust Portland at minus 156 or minus 166, whatever they were. It says 156 here, but it was 166 on the other screen, so I'm not sure exactly what the payout is. But yeah, I guess give me Charlotte plus 4.5. That's what I'm going to say. Or Chicago plus 4.5. That's what I'm going to say on this one. Dallas versus the Kings. Mavericks minus 245 at home. Most of the money is going to be on Dallas. 6.5 spread on this one. 234.5 total. Another game that could be competitive. You're looking at the Kings. They played yesterday. They got blown out versus Houston. They are on the road again in Dallas. Not much traveling from Dallas to Houston, really, but they are traveling. You look at Sacramento, missing Cardwell, missing Keegan Murray potentially. Obviously, Sabonis, Levine, and DeAndre Hunter out for the rest of the season. You look at Dallas, Cooper Flagg is out. Gafford doubtful. Chris Middleton is questionable, and then P.J. Washington is out this game as well. So they're missing some good players here. This game is one of those where I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings pull out a dub here as well. I know they're plus 250. Dallas at minus 250, there's no way I take them. There's no way I'm betting on the Mavericks at minus 250, a team that has struggled to win any game. So last time I played Dallas, I think they sold me anyway. I'm not big on this Dallas lineup right now. They're struggling. The Kings are not a good team by any means either, but they did win me a game the other day. So I'm willing to take a chance on the Kings at plus 244. I don't really like the spread. If I play the spread, I probably just take Kings plus 244 and risk it because the odds are so good. So you may see me put a quarter unit on that or half a unit or something for just for fun. Probably be like a quarter unit. Probably put like $75 or something on that play. But Sacramento plus 244 I think is a good decent risk. Not willing to run Dallas. I'm not saying you should go bet on the Kings. Definitely not saying that. Very, very risky play. They probably get beat, which is why I'm playing that other line. But I think for the odds and for the risk, I think it's definitely worth it, in my opinion, to sprinkle some on the Kings. But we'll see. I may not end up doing that. We'll see. It really just depends on how much more value I find for this slate and place my bets. Pelicans versus Jazz. I already told you guys I like the Pelicans at minus 164. It's minus 164 favorites on the road. Obviously, the Jazz are plus 170. Jazz are plus 4.5. Most of the money is going to be on Jazz money line. Most of the money on Pelicans covering the spread. That's going to be based off the odds. Jazz on a back, or not on a back-to-back. It's their first game in 3 days, actually. They had a 3 days rest, which is pretty good. Pelicans coming off of a dub, 2 straight dubs, beating Philly and beating Golden State. You look at the Jazz, they've lost 3 in a row. Lost to Portland, Memphis, and Houston. Missing Messi and Murphy on Pelicans. We talked about this already. Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, and all these players are pretty much sitting for the Jazz. So questionable for these two. If Keontae George or Markkanen sits for the Jazz, it gets a little bit uglier for them. Yes, the Jazz are a team that can beat the Pelicans. I do 100% believe that's a possibility here tonight. But the way the Pelicans have been playing, I'm willing to put some money on them because they've cashed twice in a row. Give me Pelicans money line here. I'm not going to go super in depth on that. Coin flip game, 2 tanking teams. The Jazz could definitely win at home, and the Jazz are just hard to bet on because of the way they've been playing. Markkanen's going to get like 25 minutes, so even if he plays, and then Keontae George obviously questionable as well. So even if Markkanen plays and Keontae sits, then Markkanen's still limited. So it's hard to bet on a team like that. The Pelicans have the better lineup overall, in my opinion. Next game, Lakers versus Suns. This is it's tough, man. Suns are plus 178 at home, 4.5 spread, 218.5 total. This Phoenix team keeps it competitive with most teams, even when they're missing their players. They got beat by 16 by the Celtics. Celtics pulled out the win on them. Portland, they got beat by 15. Lakers on 2 losses in a row. Both these games were at home. They lost to Orlando and they lost to the Celtics. Got beat by 1 point versus the Magic. Lakers, questionable Rui, probable Jackson Hayes. Phoenix missing Cole Anthony, Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks, Jaden Goodwin, and Highsmith. So I'm going to be paying attention to this injury news. I will not be locking this in for a while because I want to make sure that Dylan Brooks doesn't get ruled in somehow. So let's see. Broke his left. Okay, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So we ain't got to worry about Dylan Brooks. Never mind. Strike what I just said. So, anyways, This Phoenix lineup has been sneaky as well. They keep it competitive with a lot of teams they shouldn't with their bench players. Like Gillespie or Grayson Allen or Jalen Green, they can all just pop off randomly. So I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix pulled out a dub versus the Lakers. As a Lakers fan, with these two teams playing against each other with these lineups, I don't see the Lakers losing another one. But, I mean, it's the Lakers, man. Jekyll and Hyde on this team. They're good some games and terrible the other games. So I don't know that I trust the Lakers at minus 182, maybe a 4.5 spread, take them for plus 200, or maybe take them minus 2.5 or something. I got the Lakers winning. Give me LA here tonight. Last game on the slate is going to be the Clippers versus the Timberwolves. This one's going to be in LA as well. Clippers are plus 186 underdogs at home. 5.5 spread, 226.5 total. Majority of the money is going to be on Timberwolves money line for a reason. When you look at the Clippers have a questionable Kawhi Leonard and a questionable John Collins. So the two players that have stepped it up for this Clippers team are both questionable. Now, Kawhi, if he's injured at all, they might as well just sit him, man. Like he's their player. Now, the Clippers could potentially make the playoffs, the play-in spot or whatever. They're playing pretty good basketball lately. They have got beat 2 games in a row. They lost to the Magic and they lost to the Lakers. Those are 2 very, very close games that they ended up losing. Minnesota's one of the best teams in the league, man. They're a very good team. They're another team that's like Jekyll and Hyde. They have very good games and very bad games. On the road, they have a 57% win rate. Clippers have 54% at home, or overall, it's 47 and 61. So you got a team better at home and a team worse on the road playing against each other. If Kawhi and John Collins play, I could see the Clippers winning. But if they sit, then it's Timberwolves all day. So the odds aren't going to stay the same if they sit. Minnesota probably like minus 250 if they get ruled out. If you want to play the Clippers, and if you think they're going to play, then I'd say lock them in now. Or if you want to play Minnesota, then I'd say lock them in now. If you want to play the Clippers, I'd say wait till they get well. Anyway, get what I'm getting at. My brain is mush right now from talking so much. Anyways, do what you want with that information. I like the Timberwolves, man. It's hard to. I can't bet on them at minus 180 if Kawhi gets ruled in. So this is going to be one of my wait on the injury news. Other than that, then I do think Minnesota is going to get a win tonight. But those are the games that I have that I like. Those are the money lines that you're going to see me lock in. I know I gave one for every game pretty much. I'm not going to say I'm locking in every single one of those, but you can take the information I gave and do what you want with it. Obviously, where the money's at matters a lot for me too. I'm not going to say every day I go by that like full force, like, 80% of the money's on them, I'm not going to take them. I don't do that. But if there's a game that's coin flip and a game with 90% of the money on them, I'm probably going to go to the other side if it's coin flip. That's just not every time, but sometimes, unless my gut's just telling me to take a certain team. So that's what I got for today, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys cash every single one of your slips. Join our VIP if you want. We'd love to have you in there for some more spring training and some more NBA. Join the Discord if you haven't already. The Discord is free to join, and I'll see you guys in the next video.